Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa, Hare Bhaktivedanta Astatar Śrīmad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, Goswami Maharaj Thakur, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Prem Sagoho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki Jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur-Nitai ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Vallabha ki Jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru, Shri Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravan Charni Nirvishesha Shrinivari Pasachar Deshatarne. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nastapraeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 1. Chapter is entitled The Manus, Administrators of the Universe. Text number 12. Nayasya dhyato madhyam cha. Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha. Svaparo nantaram bahihi. Svaparo nantaram bahihi. Vishvasya muni yadyasmad. Vishvasya muni yadyasmad. Vishvam cha tadritam mahat. Vishvam cha tadritam mahat. Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha. Svaparo nantaram bahihi. Vishvasya muni yadyasmad. Vishvam cha tadritam mahat. Before we go on, I just want you to note that on the second line, the first word is sva, S-V-A-H, with a dot underneath the H, correct? So I took a course in Sanskrit pronunciation, and I learned that when there's a dot underneath the H, and it's happening in the beginning of the line, and not at the end of the second or fourth line, it's short. It's like this, sva. There's a break, there's a little space. So please be aware, and let's try it together. Na yasya dhyanto madhyam cha sva paro nantaram bahi sva paro nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat Na yasya dhyanto madhyam cha Sva paro nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat. Please chant. Nayasya anto madhyam cha Svaparo nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha Svaparo nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvaschandhyadritam mahat Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha Svaparo nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha Svaparo nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha Svaparo nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat. Vaishnavis. Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha Svaparo nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat Nayasya dhyanto madhyam cha Svaparo nantaram bahi Vishvasya muni adyasmad Vishvam cha tadritam mahat. na yasya janto madhyam cha svaparo nantaram baihi visvasya muni adyasmad vishvam cha tadritam mahat na neither yasya of whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead Adi a beginning Antau end Madhyam middle Cha also Sva own Paraha others Na nor Antaram inside Bahihi outside Vishvasya of the whole cosmic manifestation Amuni all such considerations Yat whose form Yasmat from he who is the cause of everything Vishvam the whole universe Cha and Tat all of them Ritam truth Mahat very very great. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning, no end, and no middle, nor does He belong to a particular person or nation. He has no inside or outside. The dualities found within this material world, such as beginning and end, mine and theirs, are all absent from the personality of the Supreme Lord. The universe, which emanates from Him, is another feature of the Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate truth, and He is complete in greatness. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.1. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, known as Govinda, is the Supreme Controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for He is the prime cause of all causes. For the Lord's existence there is no cause, for He is the cause of everything. He is in everything. Maya tatam idam sarvam. He is expanded in everything, but He is not everything. He is achintya beda abeda, simultaneously one and different. That is explained in this verse. In the material condition, we have a conception of beginning, middle, and end. But for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are no such things. The universal cosmic manifestation is also the Virad Rupa that was shown to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, since the Lord is present everywhere and all the time, He is the absolute truth and the greatest. He is complete in greatness. God is great, and how He is great is explained here. Nayasya dyanto madhyam cha svaparo nantaram baihi vishvasya muni yadyasmad vishvam yad tadritam mahat. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadhamayam Tadhati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'm very happy to be here in Melbourne, Australia. Shri Shri Radha Vallabha Mandir. Haribo. This is my first time in Melbourne. This is my first time in Australia in this lifetime. Maybe I was a worm in my previous lifetime here. But this lifetime, this is the first time here in Australia and Melbourne. And I'm really appreciating the Vaishnava Sangha. And so nice to see so many devotees coming out for Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class this morning. It's very exciting and very encouraging. Last night we attended ecstatic Harinam in downtown Melbourne. And that was very blissful also to see all the Melbourneites chanting and dancing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm very happy to be here, very honored. Before I begin to speak today, I seek the blessings of all the devotees that are present today, that I can speak for my own purification and something from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and our beloved previous acharyas. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Canto 8, Chapter 1, Text 13, entitled, The Manus, Administrators of the Universe. And this section, we're just beginning the 8th canto now. This is the first chapter. In the 7th canto, we heard about the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. And now we're going to hear about the next dynasty of the next Manus. Of course, we're very fortunate because the Swayambhuva Manu includes great personalities like Prahlad Maharaj, who is a major point of discussion in the 7th canto. And we just had Nrsingadev Chaturdasi festival here in which I'm sure the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj were also explained and discussed, especially these 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atmanivedanam. So these wonderful teachings now continue with the next Manu, and Shukadev Goswami is continuing to explain to Maharaj Parikshit in the glorious Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam. Everyone please repeat. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam. Shukamukadamritadrava samyutam. Shukamukadamritadrava samyutam. Pibata Bhāgavatam rasamalayam. Pibata Bhāgavatam rasamalayam. Mohora sika bhuvi bhavukaha. Mohora sika bhuvi bhavukaha. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of the Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Srila Shukadev Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful. This is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.1.3. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including the liberated souls. So this is a great opportunity for us to hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the topmost Vedic literature. It's compared to the ripened fruit. When you are selecting fruits, which fruit do you pick? The kacha fruit or the pakka fruit? Pakka fruits. You want the ripe fruit. Yesterday I opened the fridge. I was squeezing the different avocados. First one, oop, too tight. Second one, oop, too tight. Third one, ooh, nice and soft. So you want that soft, sweet, juicy fruit. And Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is a nice, soft, sweet, juicy fruit. And in this section of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we're hearing the glories of the Lord. We're hearing that we should worship Him in the Paramatma feature, all-pervading, inconceivable, and so amazing. The Lord is so amazing. Of course, the Lord is known in 3 different aspects: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. So we worship the Lord as all-pervading Brahman, inside every atom and in between every atom, and as Paramatma, localized within the heart of every living entity, Sarvasa Chaham Riddhi Sanyavistaha, and also as Bhagavan, Govindam Aripusham Tamaham Bhajami. Now the Lord is all-powerful, and that is the thrust of today's verse, that He is the greatest of all personalities, and how great He is explained in today's verse. But the greatness of the Lord is very, very difficult for us to understand, because we're here in this material world, and we only have a material experience. So it's very difficult for us to understand Krishna, who is in the spiritual experience. And the example that Srila Prabhupada would love to give is the story of Dr. Frog. Have you heard the Dr. Frog story? Would you like to hear it again? Yes. Okay, good. So there was a frog, his name was Dr. Frog, and he lived in a well. He was deep in his well. And he was very, very happy and satisfied in his well. And one day, one of his friends came to visit him. And his friend said, Dr. Frog, I have been to the ocean. And the ocean is very vast and huge and great. And Dr. Frog said, really? And his friend said, yes, so great. And Dr. Frog said, is it as big as my well? And his friend said, it's much bigger than your well, much bigger. And then Dr. Frog said, is it 2 times as big as my well? And his friend said, no, no, much bigger. And then Dr. Frog puffed himself up and said, is it 3 times as big? Bigger, bigger. Dr. Frog puffed himself up more. Is it 4 times as big as my well? No, bigger, bigger. Dr. Frog. Dr. Frog popped. He could not conceptualize the greatness of the ocean because of his limited experience and reference point of his own well. So similarly, we have this limited reference point of the material world. And we cannot comprehend of the greatness of the spiritual world and the master of both of the worlds, which is Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, aham sarvasya prabhavo, matat sarvam pravartate, matat sarvam pravartate, itimat va bhajante mam, itimat va bhajante mam, buddha bhava samanvitaha. Lord Krishna says in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text number 8, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Aham, I, sarvasya, all, prabhavo is emanating, matta, from me, sarvam, everything, pravartate is coming, iti matva, thus knowing, bhajante mam, bhajan, bhajan means to worship, buddha, buddha means buddhi, intelligence, buddha bhava, with the mood of the bhav of intelligence, samanvitaha, the person who understands this will worship me. So this is the sum and substance of the Krishna consciousness movement, that we should worship Krishna. He's the source of all spiritual, all material worlds. He's the greatest person. He's the most powerful person. He's a supreme controller. And thus we should constantly chant his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let us examine briefly today's verse. We'll put a little more light on today's verse with the mercy of Krishna. So today's verse, na yasyadyanto madhyam cha. So na means neither, and yasya refers to Krishna. And anto, adi, yasyadi, adi means beginning, anto means end, and madhyam means middle. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning, no end, and no middle. Adi, beginning, antao, end, and madhyam, middle, yes. So there's a nice verse in 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita which explains how, I'm trying to remember the verse, someone can perhaps help me out, that never was there a time, no, that's also a good one, 2:12, Natvam evaham jatu nasam, Natvam evaham jatu nas, Natvam neme janadi baha, Natvam neme, Natchaiva nabhavishyamaha, Natchaiva nabhavishyamaha, Sarve vayamataparam, Sarve. Never was there a time when I did not exist. That's Adi, right? Beginning. There was never a beginning. Natvam evaham jatu nasam. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor will there ever be a time when any of us ceases to be. So the Lord has no adi, no beginning, and no anto, no end. So this is amazing. And the Lord says in another verse that I have always existed, the soul has always existed, does always exist, and will always exist in the future. Because the Atma, the soul, is also eternal. The body is eternal or temporary. That's an easy one. The body is eternal or temporary? Temporary, right? It's here today and gone tomorrow. But the soul is eternal. And the Lord, He says that He has no beginning, no end, and no middle. Then, svaparo nantaram bahihi. He doesn't belong to any particular person or nation. So, sometimes, where did Krishna spend the latter majority of his life? Where he was the king? Dwarka. So where is Dwarka? So is Krishna Gujarati? Krishna is not Gujarati. Actually, Dwarka is not in Gujarat. It's in the spiritual world. It's the holy Dham. But sometimes people make the mistake that they think that Dwarka is in Gujarat, and they think that Krishna is Gujarati. Similarly, Rukmini, do you know the birthplace of Rukmini? Her birthplace is in Kaundinyapur, in Maharashtra. So some Maharashtrians, I stay in Maharashtra, some Maharashtrians, they like to say that Rukmini is a Maharashtrian girl. But Kaundinyapur is not in Maharashtra. It's a holy place, it's a holy dham, it's a spiritual world. So we should not make this mistake, and Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is pointing that out to us today. That Krishna does not belong to a particular person or a caste or a nation. He has no inside or outside. That is antaram, na antaram bahihi. Not antaram, inside, bahihi, outside. Bahir nisingo, hridaye nisingo. Bahir, he's outside, and hridaye, he's in the heart. We sing that about Lord Nrsingadev. He's outside, bahir, and hridaye, he's in the heart. And today Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is singing, na antaram bahihi. He says, na, not antaram, inside, or bahi, outside. So the Lord is not inside or outside. Then, yes, he has no conception of my end, mine, no beginning and end. The dualities found within this material world, such as beginning and end, mine and theirs, are all absent from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's no conception of beginning and end. The Lord is eternal. But here in this material world, everything we experience has a beginning and an end. Right? You start school, and then you end school. It doesn't go on forever. Don't worry. We come from Mangalartik. The Pujari blows the conch, 4:30. Doot, doot. Here it's very short. Doot, doot, doot. Right? And then 4:50, right? Approximately 4:50, it ends. But in the spiritual world, there's Nitya Lila. Krishna is always constantly performing his pastimes from one universe to the next. He finishes one pastime here, like Mother Yashoda looking into Krishna's mouth and saying, Krishna, did you eat clay? Did you eat clay? And then Krishna opens his mouth. Mother Yashoda looks inside and she sees the unlimited universes. And then that pastime finishes here but starts in another universe. It's called Nitya Lila. So Krishna doesn't have beginnings and ends. All the pastimes are constantly happening. The universe which emanates from him is another feature of the Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate truth and is complete in greatness. In the purport today, Srila Prabhupada quotes a very famous shloka from Brahma Samhita that we all know very well. Please repeat after me. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So this verse explains the greatness of Lord Krishna. Ishvara, Parama. Ishvara means to control, and Parama means the topmost. So Krishna is the topmost controller. Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. Who is the topmost controller? Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. Krishna is the topmost controller. Sat, Chit, Ananda, Vigraha. Sat, eternity. Chit, filled with knowledge and consciousness. Ananda, filled with bliss. And Vigraha. Vigraha means form. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda. He's the original person. He's unborn. Ajam. Sarva, all. Karna, cause. Karanam, causes. He's the cause of all causes. Whatever happens, it happens by the mercy of Krishna. Who speaks Hindi here? Yes? You want to hear a Hindi joke? I'll translate it in a minute. It is a short one. We say, Hum jab yojana banate hai, to Krishna haste hai. See, they laughed. I got it right. So it means if you want to make Krishna laugh, tell him your plans. Because he's a supreme controller. Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. And sometimes we think that we're the cause. Prakriti Kriyamanani. Prakriti Kriyamanani. Prakriti Kriyamanani. Gune Karmani Sarvashaha. Gune Karmani Sarvashaha. Ahankara Vimudatma. Kartaham iti manyate. Kartaham iti. The spirit soul, bewildered, thinks himself, bewildered by the false ego, ahankar, thinks himself the doer, kartaham, of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature, and ultimately sarva karana karanam, by the supreme controller. Srila Prabhupada continues in the purport today. He says that he is in everything. He is expanded in everything, but he is not everything. So Prabhupada refers to a verse in the purport. Let's see if we can remember it. I think 9.4. Maya tatamidam sarvam. Maya tatamidam jagada vyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani matstani sarva nachaham te svavastitaha. Maya tatam idam sarvam. I am pervading everything. Krishna says, I am everywhere. I pervade the entire universe. I am in everything, but everyone is not me. So there's a difference between Krishna and the living entity. We are not Krishna. We are parts and parcels of Krishna. Krishna is all-powerful, and we are very small. He is Vibhu, and we are Anu. And the role of the jivas, jivera swarupa Krishnara Nitya Das, that the jiva are eternally servants of Krishna. So we're not Krishna, we are just small servants of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada concludes the purport by saying, He is the absolute truth and the greatest. He is complete in greatness. God is great, and how He is great is explained here. So this is amazing. This is talking about the power, amazing power of Krishna. So Krishna is full in 6 opulences. That is why He is called Bhagavan. So can anyone say one of the opulences of Krishna? Yes? Strength. Okay. Second. Yes. Beauty. Good. Third. Yes. Renunciation. Good. Fourth, right? What's that? Wealth. He has wealth, right? Yeah, great. Good. And number 5? Knowledge. Good. 6? Yes. Fame. Everybody got it. Very good. Very scholarly congregation we have here. Nice to see. So Lord Krishna is Bhagavan. He's filled with all opulences. He's the greatest. And after Krishna explained the seed verses of Bhagavad Gita in the 10th chapter to Arjuna, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, etc. And Arjuna, he replied, he understood the greatness of Krishna. Arjuna uvacha, param brahma param dhamma, pavitram paramam bhavan, purusham shastvatam divyam, adidevam ajam vibhum. So then Arjuna, he declared, yes, you are the Supreme Person, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, the ultimate abode, the ultimate resting place. Paramam, Pavitram, you are the Supremest. Ajam, you are unborn. Vibhum, you are the greatest. So Arjuna had that realization, and we should all share in that realization that Krishna is the greatest. Because having that realization, we will get the inspiration to engage in bhakti, service to Krishna. Bhakti mam abhijananti, bhakti mam yavanyaschasmi tattvataha, yavanyaschasmi tatomam tattvato gnatva, tatomam tattvato gnatva, vishate tadanantaram, vishate tad. Krishna says in the 18th chapter, text 55, only by bhakti can I be known in truth, tattvataha. And when one knows me in truth, one does not come back to this material world, but attains my eternal abode, anantaram. Therefore, let us practice bhakti yoga, specifically as given to us by Srila Prabhupada. The most important process of bhakti yoga in Kali Yuga, of course, all 9 processes are important, but one that reigns supreme is the Yuga Dharma. Kaler doshanadhe rajan, kaler doshanadhe asti yeko mahan gunan, asti yeko mahan gun, kirtanadyeva krishnasya, kirtanadyeva krishna, mukta sangam param vrajet, mukta sangam. In this age of Kali, Kaler, Dosha, Nidhe, Rajan. Kaler means the age of Kali, and Dosha is like a roti, South Indian roti we have for breakfast. No, actually it means, Dosha means a fault in this case, although breakfast it's always good, especially with chutney. Don't worry, I'll end soon, it's getting towards prasadam time. Kaler, Dosha, Nidhe, Rajan. In the age of Kali, there's dosha, there's a fault. Nidhe means ocean. Kaler, dosha, nidhe, an ocean of faults. There's so many faults in this age of Kali. We saw last night in downtown Melbourne, people suffering and engaging in so many different sinful activities, trying to enjoy their senses, just suffering, and more suffering. And just recently, I was in Sydney. Yesterday I was in Sydney and I met Pratapana Prabhu. Do you remember Pratapana Prabhu? Have you heard of him? Yes, he's a Srila Prabhupada disciple. And he takes Harinam Sankirtan out every week in Sydney. And he's in charge of the Govinda's restaurants in Sydney. Wonderful devotee. We had lunch together. And he shared with me how he came to Krishna consciousness. And he said that he was an attorney at law. He was a lawyer, a very intelligent person. And every day he would see the devotees when he was coming to work. And he was feeling, he said, the devotees are so happy, but I was so miserable. Then I wanted to approach them and find out what made them so happy. So he came and they gave him, one of the devotees gave him a big stack of books. And he gave him a $100 donation. And he said in those days that was the record. No one had ever given a $100 donation before. Haribol. And then he started to read the books. But it's difficult to understand. But then he started chanting, dancing, and feasting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So Kaler Dosha Nidhe Rajan. This material world is an ocean of faults, but Ekeha Mahan Gunan. There's Ekeha. Eka means one. Like Ekadashi, Eka. There's one good Gunan. Gunan, Guna means quality. Ekeha Mahan Gunan. What is that one good quality? Kirtanad Yeva Krishnasya. The chanting of Krishna's holy names. Mukta Sangam Param Vrajet will give us liberation from all the dukkha and suffering of this material world. So let us embrace this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and distribute it widely, because this is the medicine, it's the panacea, it's the greatest welfare work, para upakar. Brahmanda, what is that? Bharata Bhumite Hoy. Bharata Bhumite Hoy. Bharata Manusya Janma Jar. Manusya Janma Jar. Janma Satakakari. Para Upakar. Caitanya Charitamrita declares, those who are born in Bharat, those who have a human species of life, who have this great opportunity, should make their lives successful by becoming Krishna conscious, and then help others make their lives successful by distributing Krishna consciousness. So coming back to Bhagavatam, we see Shukadev Goswami is enlightening Maharaj Parikshit about the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And today we learn His no beginning, no middle, no end. He's the greatest. He has no material limitations. He has no feelings of me and mine, and He's beyond our conception, just like Dr. Frog. We cannot conceive. But Krishna is so kind that if He wants, He can let us understand Him. Yeyatamam prapadyante, yeyatamam prapadyante, tamstataiva bhajam yaham, tamstataiva mama vartmanu vartante, manusya janma sarvashaha. So I'm going to end here. And I'm going to ask if there are any questions or comments. Thank you very much. Yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj, how did you join ISKCON?
How did I join ISKCON? Halava.
Just tell us a bit more about details.
Devotees, they engaged me in my propensities. They engaged me in New York City. I was born in New York City in 1965, the same year that Srila Prabhupada came to New York. And my Mausi, my mother's younger sister, she used to attend Srila Prabhupada's kirtans in Tompkins Square Park in 1966. And she, Jai Ho, Mausi ki Jai. And she visited India 3 times. once I was 5 years old, she came back, she had some Ganga Jal. And she gave me the Ganga Jal and I drank it. So I got the mercy of Mother Ganga also. I come from a musical family. When my mother was pregnant, she was learning the acoustic guitar. So I could hear acoustic guitar when I was in the womb. And I started music lessons when I was 4 years old. And 5 years old, I started piano. 6 years old, I started guitar. 7 years old, I started trumpet. And by the time I entered the Berklee College of Music, I played 16 different instruments. Thank you, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
When I was 12 years old, I was part of a children's rendition of the Broadway musical Hare. Have you heard of that? Yes? So, Srila Prabhupada actually met the person who wrote that musical, who met that play. And Srila Prabhupada told him, in your next drama, your next natak, your next musical, you should include the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So he did. And it became famous on Broadway, and then in London, and then all over the world. So 1977, I was 12 years old, and I was in a children's production of this musical Hare. And I was the guitar player. So I was in the pit orchestra, and the actors were acting on the stage. We came to the last song, and this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the last song in the play. And the musical director said, we need someone to sing this last song. You, guitar player, can you sing? I said, yes, I can sing. He said, okay, you sing the Hare Krishna song. So I said, okay. I had the sheet music. There were no devotees present, just Srila Prabhupada's instruction to that playwright. And I started reading the music and playing my guitar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that was my first kirtan. And I had to rehearse every day. So I did a lot of chanting. And I learned the mantra. And I liked the mantra. And then I went home after the camp. And I heard on the radio a beautiful song by Śrīmad George Harrison Prabhu. George Harrison Prabhu ki jai. And he sang the song, My Sweet Lord. Have you heard that? My sweet Lord, Hare Krishna, my sweet Lord, Krishna, Krishna, I really want to see you, Hare Rama, I really want to be with you, Hare Krishna, I really want to know you, Lord. Like that, he's singing. Hare Bol. So that really touched my heart. So I started listening to the Beatles and George Harrison, and I came closer and closer to Krishna. And when I entered the college in Boston, then I visited the Hare Krishna temple for the first time, and I met Halava Prabhu. And my life has never been the same.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I heard before you was mentioning about the Satchit Ananda, and I never heard anyone refer to, I think, is it Chit, knowledge, and you also mentioned consciousness.
Yes, yes.
So what is the relationship with that? What is the connection with that?
Connection between Chit and?
And consciousness and knowledge.
Chit, consciousness and knowledge. It's cognizance, awareness. Just like if I pinch your body, you can feel it. You have chit, you have consciousness, you have awareness. And if I were to go over and pinch you right now, you might give me a good slap, right? But if I pinch the microphone, there's no objection from the microphone. There's no consciousness here. There's no chit. It's dull, dead matter. So consciousness means cognizance, means awareness, like that. Does that answer your question?
Definitely, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes? Can you hand her the microphone, please?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. Maharaj, you mentioned how Lord Krishna is all-pervading. He's present in every atom. And we also hear in Brahma Samhita that Lord Krishna is present everywhere in our hands. So then why do we only say that Lord Krishna is present in our heart as a super soul? Why don't we say He's in our hands, in our body?
Let me see if I understand your question properly, and thank you for your question. So you're asking that, why do we say that Krishna is in the heart? Why don't we say Krishna is in my hand? Is that correct? So He's in both. He's in your heart and He's also in your hand. But specifically we refer to Krishna in the heart because of the Paramatma feature of the Lord. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdite. So Lord Krishna is in three aspects. Brahman, all-pervading, He's everywhere. Paramatmeti, He's in the heart as a super soul, about 8 inches high, like this. That's also described in Bhagavatam. And Bhagavan means Krishna's in His own planet, Goloka Vrindavan. What does Krishna do there? He performs His pastimes, He plays His flute, He herds His... They have fun. He enjoys. Bhoktaram yagatapasam. He's a supreme enjoyer. So, Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Everybody. Sarvasya chaham ridi sanyavisto. Matasmitir jnanam aponam cha. Matasmitir jnanam aponam. Vedaischa sarvar aham eva vedyo. Vedaischa sarvar aham eva. Vedanta vid eva chid eva chaham. Vedanta vid eva chaham. Krishna says, I am situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sanyavistaha. Sarva means all. Sarvasya cha, I, hridi. Aham, sarvasya cha aham. I am in everyone's hridi. Hridi means heart. That's why we say heart. That word hridi is there. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sanyavistaha. Sanyavistaha means situated. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Thank you, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Or kuch chahiye? Yes, Prabhu. Last point. It's time for dosha.
We want to know the cause why Lord Nrsimhadev put the intestine around his as a garland.
Okay. Question is, why did Lord Nrsimhadev put an intestine around his neck? So I have not heard any acharya give an explanation, so I'm not going to make anything up. I'm not like a Disney script writer. So, but I will say that everything in the Bhagavatam is ultimately under the Leela Shakti of the Lord, the pastime potencies. Why does Krishna do it? Krishna does it because He likes it. Now, if you were to put a garland of intestines around me, I probably would not like it, unless it was Lord Nrsimhadev's Mahaprasadam. But Krishna likes it. And it gives us an opportunity to discuss the pastimes of Krishna. Janma karma chame divyam. Janma karma chame. Evam yoveti tatvataha. Tyaktva deham punar janma. Naitimam eti sojuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my birth and activities does not, upon leaving this material body, take birth again in this material world, but attains my supreme abode. So it gives us an opportunity. It's helping us to understand Krishna's transcendental activities and go to the spiritual world. And it gives us great happiness and pleasure to discuss them. Machchitta machgata prana, machchitta machgata prana, bodhayantas parasparam, bodhayantas parasparam, katayantas cha mam nicham, tushanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees always dwell in me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always discussing my pastimes. So this gives us an opportunity. Krishna loves his devotees. He wants to give them pleasure. That's one of the reasons he descends in this world. Yada yada hi dharmasya, glanir bharati bharata, abhyutanam dharmasya, abhyutanam dharmasya, tadatmanam shrujam yaham, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya chaduskatam, dharma samstapanataya, sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna descends for three purposes. Paritranaya sadhunam, to give pleasure to the devotees. Vinashaya chaduskritam, to kill the demons. Dharma samstapanataya, to establish religious principles. So paritranaya sadhunam. Why Krishna puts the garland? It gives pleasure to his devotees. Haribol. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol. You know, I have some Nisinga oil. I have some Nisinga oil from Mayapur. Everyone please come.